The B.S Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the Sports Guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the B.S Report, a hazy Monday here in Southern California. I am not happy with football right now because my team lost a tough one to San Francisco last night. Cousin Sal, a little bit happier. His Cowboys running away with the NFC East. What happened?
Well, what happened, let me just first say, if the Mayans are right and the end of the world is Friday, my team won their last game, your team lost theirs. So I'm almost rooting for that, I have to say. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I am way overly cautiously optimistic about the end of this season. Whatever. What did I say last week? I said we'd win this week, we'd beat the Saints, and then we lose by 20 to the Redskins.
I remember making fun of you on this podcast 3 weeks ago that Dallas was not out of it and that you were checking the standings. You're like, no, I'm not. Now I can tell. There's a little hop in your step.
I hate when you do my voice. It's not fair. Maybe I'll start with that with you. I'll start doing your voice. Yeah, you like it.
What'd you take away from last night's Niners-Pats game?
Well, I think everyone could keep quiet about the Kaepernick-Smith thing, right? I mean, Kaepernick went in there, a big road game, night game, all sorts of weather going on, and he moved them down the field. He's better. He's just better moving them down the field than Alex Smith is. I don't care what his completion percentage is, Alex Smith, but that looked like a pissed off physical team that the Pats weren't ready for. Would you feel the same way?
Yeah, the best way to judge somebody is when your team's playing against them or if you've gambled against them. And Kaepernick's really scary. And, he's going against your team and you feel like on every one of those little handoff things where you don't know if he kept it or not, you're scared on those. I'm scared every time he wanted to throw deep. I felt like he was going to complete it. Thought he was really good. The Niners were fast. I mean, it's just such a fast defense. It almost seemed like the Pats needed a quarter to get to kind of adjust to the speed.
Yeah. Even Frank Gore was busting through the holes. Like, didn't make any sense.
And then Justin Smith got hurt during the game, which helped us. Obviously, the Pats didn't play well. The 2 fumbles were unforgivable. Barnwell broke down today. There were 8 fumbles in the game. The Niners got 7 of them. A little bit lucky. I thought they played better. I thought they deserved to win.
Fake punt
was great. The Pats really made it difficult for themselves a couple times, especially they almost didn't get it on 1st and goal from the 1.
Right.
I didn't feel like the Pats played well. I do feel like if those 2 teams played 10 times, they'd probably each win 5. So if we see them again in the Super Bowl, assuming both teams get there.
I mean, you have to win.
I think they're really even. It's a great matchup. Both teams do stuff well. And if I'm a Niners fan, I'm a little concerned that I was up 28 and the Pats scored in 4 straight possessions.
Yeah, that wasn't great. In fact, Vegas was so high on the Pats when it was tied, and they didn't have the ball, the Pats, at the end. It was like 6.5 left. The Pats were minus 220 to win the game. Wow. The in-game running. Minus 220, they don't even have the ball.
I didn't think Michaels and Collinsworth made enough of the MVP of the game yesterday, which was the Niners punter, Andy Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Who uncorked 2 of the biggest punts in a row that, really altered the field position both times.
Well, you had 2 holds, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got 2 dumb penalties combined. There were these 2 times where it seemed like the Pats were getting the ball in a great spot of the field, and they didn't. It was just a lot of work. Like, at one point, even when it was tied, I think Brady had already thrown for like 300 yards in the half or right after the Niners went ahead. Like, at some point, they're not going to score 5 touchdowns.
Right.
I just thought the Niners, their special teams in that 4th quarter made a huge difference. The kick return was massive.
Yeah.
It really was, because I think it's such a difference between you have it on R35 versus like if they just tackle the guy at the 20. Now Kaepernick, so much pressure. The Pats had the momentum. It's just they took the momentum back in 2 plays.
The Niners have the wackiest special teams unit in all of football, maybe history. You have a kicker who misses like 3 out of 5 weeks. He's way off, David Akers. You have a guy, punt returners just waiting for the ball to hit them in the ankle. They really they've mastered it. They're just the way they get around it. And then you got you big kick return guys. Can't figure that team out.
Yeah, and the Pats were due for a game where they didn't play that well. I'm not freaking out about it.
Staring at a 3 seed at worst, and you have Cincy come to you or something like that.
Well, it was probably the most important game played this year because of all the different ramifications it had for the playoffs. Like that was the single most influential game of the year. Mm-hmm. If the Pats come back and win, then San Francisco has to go to Seattle and beat them.
Right.
Or they're a 5 seed, and now they took care of business, so now they're almost definitely a 2 seed. Now Seattle doesn't get to play at home once in the playoffs.
I almost thought they would flex. NBC would change that game because it doesn't really mean it. San Francisco's going to win at Arizona the last week, right? That's who they play.
You'd think.
I thought they'd go Baltimore Giants, which is really must win for. Although Baltimore made the playoffs now, right? Yeah, maybe it's the game.
It's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And they're probably, now Seattle's a 5 seed, and the NFC East team is almost undoubtedly the 4 seed, right?
Yeah, probably should be the 6 seed if they could want to reconfigure the playoff system. But
so Seattle might be favored in Dallas. No offense.
No, none taken. They're good, and let me tell you something. Well, as it is now, I know you're looking ahead, but the 4-5 matchup is Seattle-Washington. And that's, I think, as good as the NFC has to offer. I mean, the Niners were great last night, but I love this Washington and Seattle team, what they're doing. They're playing at such a high level.
Yep.
Backups and backup rookies to backups, and I can't find a flaw in any of them. And you need to gloat a little more about the Seattle Super Bowl pick. I know it's against Buffalo and Arizona the last 2 weeks, but they look like they have it all together.
Yeah, you'd think so. The Bears game was the big game for them because they just couldn't get over the hump on the road. But they haven't played a bad game this season. No. That's the crazy thing about the Seahawks. Like, just look through their. I don't know if they've even been down by more than like 14 points to anybody all season. Like they're in every game. Every road game they lost, they could have won in the last 5 minutes. Probably their worst. I've watched a lot of Seahawks just because I felt kind of invested because I had picked them. Yeah. The worst half they played was the second half of the Packers game,
right,
on Monday night, which they ironically won. But that was the only time where they really didn't look like a good football team. Other than that, they've been in all of these games.
They didn't really win that game. I know what you're saying, but yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah, they've crushed. Yeah, and in that Packers game, I think they had 8 sacks in the first half. But yeah,
they also They took a big gamble when one of those D-backs accepted the 4-game suspension so he could play in the playoffs, which hasn't hurt them at all.
No.
And now they're definitely, it wouldn't have really affected whether they're a 2-seed or a 5-seed anyway.
But I wonder if they would have taken that suspension thinking that they really had a legitimate shot at winning the division. But you're right. Now it doesn't matter.
Now it doesn't matter. It worked out. I don't know. That might not have been a great decision if they were playing San Francisco for the 2-seed.
Yeah.
But, they're better than Dallas. You might be able to steal it just if the classic home playoff scenario where you're like 3.5-point underdogs and everybody in the world's taking Seattle. That might actually work in your favor. The Giants, I think we both feel the same about the Giants. Like, even though there's no reason to like them, you can't count them out, and they do this every year. And it's just at some point it's not going to happen. But until this whole pattern that they've fallen into, until it actually backfires on them, I can't count them out.
Was that just the perfect storm game where Atlanta, no one believes in Atlanta, the near undefeated Atlanta Falcons, still no one believes in them, and plus they owed the Giants the playoff thrashing a year ago, and the Giants maybe came in overconfident because they manhandled them. They really did. Defensively, they didn't even. The Giants didn't have a chance to move the ball up the field.
You know, and I was thinking about that when I was making picks on Friday. It's like this has all the makings of everybody taking the Giants, Atlanta in that mode of nobody thinks we're good. Watch this, like they're angry. As soon as Eli threw that pass, but that got picked,
yeah,
you just kind of knew how the game was going to play. I was like, all right. And then to not get all those fourth downs, though. So I didn't feel like it was as much of an ass kicking as you did. I thought the Giants played a really bad game, but I thought they were their own worst enemy in that game. I'm not sure. The Falcons played very well, but the fourth down play calls I thought were just atrocious. Like you watched the Niners last night, and they just seemed like such a polished, well thought out team, really smart game plan. Like just all the little things that they do are so good, and you watched that Giants game, and you just didn't feel that way. I thought they looked really sloppy.
No, they did, and I think it was a lot of emotion, and that was what I'm saying with the Falcons. I mean,
definitely.
Gonzalez could have dunked on a 14-foot crossbar there, I thought. Like, they were just flying high.
Well, I think they've taken a lot of heat in Atlanta as, like, same old Falcons. Why should we trust this team? And that you bring in like the history of that city with sports teams, and I think people are just kind of fed up. Like, we're tired of hearing that Matt Ryan's a superstar. Go do it.
And even after that blowout, let's say 4-5, Washington, Seattle goes to Atlanta. You're not taking Atlanta.
That's the thing. For Seattle, this break's great. Even though they're not going to get the 2 seed and they would have been better off playing at home, the road is. They could potentially play Dallas in round 1, and then they go to Atlanta in round 2 in a dome.
Mm-hmm.
So those are really, really winnable games. I'm actually not sure who the worst opponent for them would be. I guess it would be San Francisco.
For Atlanta?
No, for Seattle. Because San Francisco is almost like a better version of Seattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're assuming it's not Green Bay, right? Because Green Bay is going to want to, hand their heads to them after that screw job call.
Oh, see, I don't think there's a scenario where they play Green Bay.
Well, let's see, 3. Yeah, Green Bay can't go to 4, right?
Green Bay is going to be the 3 seed.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Although, wait a second. So Green Bay goes 12-4 and San Francisco goes 11-4-1, Green Bay would be the 2 seed.
Oh, they're still going for the 2 seed, yeah.
Well, regardless, Green Bay and San Francisco are playing in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Seattle is going to play the
No, Atlanta and either Green Bay or San Francisco are in round 2.
Yeah, I'm saying Green Bay and San Francisco are either going to be 2-3 or 3-2.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, they'll play.
So they're playing in round. So Atlanta is playing Seattle in round 2. It looks like, and I think Seattle. That's a great matchup for Seattle.
Yeah,
I like that. I think they can go in there and win. And then in the other conference.
Well, before we get to the other conference, you really, you're all over Seattle. You were in Toronto yesterday.
What?
And you called me. Oh, you don't even remember that?
No.
Yeah, you caught the Seattle Buffalo game in Toronto.
I did.
You called me collect. You somehow left a message collect, and that really charges rack up when you call from Canada. But here's the message you left. It was worth it, I think.
Cousin Sal, sports guy here, calling you from Toronto. I'm 3 sheets to the wind right now, maybe 4. Just swam to the top of a keg of Molson. I don't even know if I'm sure I could speak to you. So drunk right now, I make Don Draper look like Don Osmond. I spent the afternoon cheering on my man crush and soulmate, Russell Hustle and Bustle Man Muscle Wilson, at 205 yards passing and 1 touchdown through the air, 3 touchdowns on the ground, scrambling with all his adorable might, using those speedy and strapping powerhouse lusty brown legs of his. You should have seen me rooting for him from my seat at the Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens Hotel and Casino. Inspiring my man Russell, I used a famous French-Canadian cheer, and it went like this. It went, C'est mon ton ton ton, ton ton ton, ton sera ton do, which means, if my uncle shaves your uncle, he will be shaved. I can't for the life of me figure out what I just said that, but anyway, I gotta go. Russ and I have a wonderful evening planned back at the hotel where I'm going to pour fresh maple syrup into his nostrils and then suck it out repeatedly. Sports guy, over and out. Back to you, Jalen the Magic.
You're all over the place there.
I don't remember that at AFC.
Yeah, go back to the AFC.
So it looks like Indy's in.
Yeah, it does. No one wants that 6th spot, let alone the 5th spot.
Indy's 9-5. Houston has now clinched the 1 seed, basically. They need one more, and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
So, although who wins the Houston-Denver tie? Houston beat Denver.
I texted you in the morning, and I'm going to try to do this maybe this will be a new feature in Grantland or something, but the sucker bet of the week. I listen and I scan all the message boards and all the picks contests I'm in, the 400 pick contest I'm in, and everybody loved the Colts yesterday. Everybody. And even though it went from 8.5 to 10.5, people still jumped on the Colts. And I said, this doesn't sound right. And then the last second cheapo field goal.
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
And then the Colts had the ball to potentially.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Back door, yeah.
You watched the Steelers yesterday. They're not impressive.
No, they're not that good.
I don't think they're a playoff team. So that leaves us with Cincinnati at 8-6, Pittsburgh at 7-7, the Jets at 7-7 if they win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Jets schedule, they're almost definitely going to finish 9-7.
We said this last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
San Diego, who was it? Buffalo and San Diego?
Yeah. So since he's 8-6, and since he has these 2 games left, at Pittsburgh,
mm-hmm.
home for Baltimore, the Jets really might make the playoffs. We were joking about it either last week or 2 weeks ago, and now you're looking at it. And I saw Sean Fennessy, who works for Grantland, diehard Jets fan over the weekend, and he's just laughing. He's like, the Jets fans, like, what do you do? Like, you have this team that all the Jets fans just think sucks, and then you limp into the playoffs with it, but it's exciting to be in the playoffs. You just run the gamut of emotions. There's nothing worse than having a bad team going to the playoffs.
I know. Well, I'm there with you, but they score 1 touchdown a week, and they're in contention. Well, they still have to take care of business against Tennessee tonight, but yeah,
maybe
they
Tennessee.
could be the 6th seed.
Tennessee should do the right thing and just chop the Jets' head off tonight. Just get rid of them.
If I'm New England and I have a possibility of getting a bye or the Jets coming to town the first week, if I'm a 3 seed and having to play that first week, I might want to just play the Jets, get some momentum, get some reps in, some playoff January reps in there.
Have you ever had a Cowboys playoff team where going into the playoffs you just knew they were going to get smoked?
Yeah, sure. All the Bledsoe year where Troy Hambrick was our running back or something. Yeah, for sure. That was like Parcells' team. Yeah,
we had. I want to say it was the '98 Pats.
Mm-hmm.
We were. I'm gonna look this up as we're talking. I think we were like 9-7. Yeah, 9-7. It was Pete Carroll's second year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was. Bledsoe got hurt, and we had Scott Zolak in Jacksonville in the playoffs.
That was the playoff game?
Yeah, everybody knew we were going to lose.
Yeah.
It was just...
Wow.
You just knew, and it was like, yeah, my team's in the playoffs. It was not like there were a lot of Patriot playoff games back then.
Right.
But just, it was the whole week, it's just like, I got to get excited because it's the playoffs, but we also have no chance. This sucks.
Yeah, well, if the Jets or Pittsburgh get in, their fans are going to feel the same way.
Well, the other thing is, now it looks like the Pats are the 3 seed.
Yeah.
So, you could have a Pats-Jets playoff game.
That's what I mean. That's what you want.
Beat them by 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pittsburgh would scare me a little bit more.
The Jets can't score.
Pittsburgh would scare me a little more only because I don't think Roethlisberger's healthy right now, but he might be a little healthier in 2 to 3 weeks.
He's fine, and they'll put up 24, 27, but if your Patriots are playing against those pathetic cornerbacks that Romo was up against, and by the way, I know you're being cute with your list of longest yard quarterbacks. Romo's not 15th. He's not behind Flacco and Freeman and all these other jerk-offs you put in there. Come on. You're judging him on his first 5 games of that.
You're talking about my Friday column, which actually ran on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did the QB power poll, and I had. All right, so let's go through it very quickly. And then
I have him at 1C.
Wait, stop. Do you have him? Well, Josh Freeman, I think, dropped about 6 spots yesterday.
He's out. Goodbye.
Is he eating? I think he's eating bad food again.
Yeah.
I think they need to keep the fried food away, but I had Josh
I
Freeman.
think you're eating crow for putting him in the top 13 or whatever you did.
He's having a great season until yesterday.
Oh.
I had him 10. I had Russell Wilson 11. I had Stafford 12, Schaub 13, Cutler 14.
I don't even put Schaub. I don't know. Cutler,
Romo 15.
Schaub and Cutler. Yeah, they're much better than Romo. They're better than Romo. You're crazy.
Well,
You're a crazy person.
he might have been about 2 spots too low.
I think Romo's unfairly judged on the first 5 games of this year, and you know.
I think Romo has a lot of weapons. Romo's got Des Bryant and Miles Austin. Like, he has people to throw to. He's got a
Miles
good tight
Austin
end.
drops almost every pass that's thrown to him.
Yeah, but still.
So that's not a good weapon. It discharges when you're not.
Oh, you know who else? You know what? Romo jumped Stafford too. I'm done with Stafford.
Yeah, enough of him.
He was embarrassing in that Arizona game.
Well, what do you
I know
rank
he's
it?
young.
Is that like who you'd want to have now or for the next 5 years? I wasn't sure what the list was, but you know, Stafford is like second in the league in passing yards. That's great, and a lot of them is garbage time to Calvin Johnson at the end, even if they're winning or losing. But what was it that you?
Well, I wrote in the column what it was.
I know. I just saw the numbers and I got fed up. I couldn't read it. What was it?
I said it was like for right now, like guys you'd want this season, not like who would you want for the rest of their career.
All
It's
right.
like who would you want in a game. I'm sorry, I still don't trust Romo in big games.
Okay.
I need to see a bigger sample size.
All right. Well, if you trust Josh Freeman and Matt Schaub in a big game. I don't know what these guys have ever done.
Josh Freeman was at 25 TDs and 8 interceptions when I wrote that.
Are those in the playoffs? That's who is he playing? He plays the Saints twice. You're going to have nine touchdowns anyway, and you got none.
You're a very loyal fan.
I know. All right. What are we doing?
Week 16.
Week 16. You're closing the gap here. I'm 8-6-1 through 15 weeks, and
yeah,
I think I was like 8-3-1 or something. So no more Thursday games. Everyone's happy about that. Saturday, Atlanta at Detroit.
So I looked at this. This is an ESPN game, and we don't have a Monday night game.
Right. Why not? Why isn't there a Monday night? Because it's
Why isn't there a Monday night game? Yeah.
There's always a Christmas Eve game. I remember. There's almost right. They don't abandon a Christmas game.
Who was in the room when they decided there shouldn't be a Christmas Eve game?
There are Christmas Day games. Why wouldn't they have I don't know what this is about.
We have 5 Christmas Day games on ESPN and ABC.
Yeah,
this is a whole other story. I make it the worst.
Simmons. It's good though because there are 11 early Sunday games, so that's good. So it really works out for the viewer.
11 early games.
11.
Plus
it's
like
3 late afternoon again.
Such a crucial. I might get the divorce really might happen.
Yeah.
This Christmas thing. I'm at work for 15 hours doing TV on Christmas. I get there at 7 in the morning. We leave at 10 at night.
Wow. That's a lot.
Celebrate Christmas on Christmas
Can't
Eve.
they just put a hologram up there and I'll do the voiceover for you and we'll fill in the whatever stats?
I suppose that Wilbon said you get really punchy around like the 4th game. It really could be bad. This really could be the end of my career. I might end up saying something dumb.
That's great.
Yeah, it could be bad. 15 hours is a long time. Think about that.
Yeah.
We got to keep coming on. We're in makeup. We're in a suit. This is going to be bad.
Oh, you love the makeup.
You'll still be my friend after my career ends, right?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be tough. We're going
to
have the 3-card Monty booth on Hollywood Boulevard, but
it's going to be terrible. All right.
Atlanta, Detroit.
This Lions coaching staff might have to go, right?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think from Thanksgiving to now, I don't know how you come back, but I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Falcons by 3.5.
Wow. All right, here we go again with the cheating. You got
I'm
it right
not cheating.
You got it right away. 3.5 is exactly it. I said 4.5. I think Detroit's an awful 4-10 team. I know Atlanta's clinched everything, but put those two on the field, and why should Atlanta win by less than 4.5?
That's. I actually thought of going 3 just because I couldn't think of what are the reasons Atlanta this is not a must win. Didn't they clinch everything?
How does Arizona? How does they step up for that game? That's ridiculous. Is it just that the league looked at it and too many people had Detroit on a 2-team teaser? They said we have to pull the rug out from everyone here.
When I was making picks, I thought it seemed like too many points. Like you have a 4-10 team that's giving 6 points on the road. Like just there's a red flag right there. And then you just look at those Arizona quarterbacks, and it's like if they fall behind by 3 points, the game's over.
Yeah.
But what happened was they got the lead, and then that guy never had to throw a pass.
2 pick sixes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Atlanta actually
Stafford.
does have something. They're a game and a half up with 2 left, so on San Francisco. So they.
Yeah, but they have Tampa. They have Tampa at home in Week 17,
Right.
and Tampa's imploding. So I don't know. I could see them getting a little soft in this
Yeah,
game.
but don't you want to win this week? So you sit everyone next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the line's fair. I think it'll end up at 4.
All right. Let's see how you cheated on this one. We'll do my game. New Orleans at Dallas.
Oh, well, this one was easy. I'm going to hit this exact.
I don't
Cowboys by 3.
Yeah. I went high on it. I said 3.5. It's only 2.5 now,
Oh.
which scares me. Makes me think. I don't know how we stop New Orleans anyway, but that offense. But
I don't know what to make of the Saints anymore. I think I've been wrong in them probably 11 of the 14 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of streaks, we forgot to mention last week the Panthers won their coin toss.
Yeah, they did. We didn't mention that.
It was like one of the great moments of the season. The crowd went crazy.
And I was wrong. It had been 13, even though they only played 12 games. They lost the overtime flip.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the best. What a great streak.
Good for them. I'm happy for Coach Ron Rivera. Take a bow. Yeah. New Orleans at Dallas. All right. So I said 2. Okay, you get that one. So you're up 2-0. I don't know. I would have thought the Saints would have quit on their team by now. I'm actually a little, sort of impressed with them.
Hey, they didn't have a coach all season.
Yeah.
And the guy who was coaching the team really seemed like he did some inappropriate stuff with this bounty scandal. So I'm sure he was thinking about that half the time.
Well, I hope they iron this out. I hope they really get in and investigate because they can't leave this. They shouldn't leave this alone. It barely touched it.
I'm starting to think that this might be it for Goodell. Like this, it feels like this story is going to go deeper.
Yeah.
And at some point, people are going to have to be accountable for how they handled it.
If he's a president, his approval rating is about 15% right now, right?
I know.
Do they do that for commissioners? They should.
That's the thing. Like, if these were elected officials, and he ran for re-election, like 2 years from now, he'd have no chance of winning.
No.
I want Bill Clinton to be the NFL commissioner. What a great role for that. Wouldn't that be a great job for him? What's he doing now? He's like just doing philanthropy and like he's got his foundation and all that. I think he needs to make a comeback. What would be a better job after being president than being the commissioner of the most powerful sport? Like,
that'd be pretty good.
All the stuff that's going on right now in football, like we really need a real person. Goodell's not a real person. He's somebody that was somebody's assistant that got promoted one spot too high. He needs to go. Yeah. We need somebody who's a real guy.
Clinton, I think the halftime shows with the cheerleaders would be about an hour and a half long, but yeah, we could deal with that.
Think about like on Jimmy's show, if Jill, the lead producer, the executive producer.
We're gonna get in trouble here. Yeah.
No, we're not. This is gonna be great. You're gonna love this. Jill screws something up so badly.
Right.
Like a real big thing with suspensions and potential lawsuits and a defamation. It's such a mess that our friend Daniel, the first executive producer of the show, has to get called back in to make the decision on what's fair and not fair because Jill has botched this so badly. That would never happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
this is what happened in the Saints thing.
No, I know.
And everybody's like, he's on the cover of Time magazine 2 weeks ago, and it's like, can Roger Goodell save football? Can he save football? He can't even do his job. Yeah.
Yeah, Tagliabue, they're bringing him in. Why? Because he has his name on the footballs from the 90s? Like, who cares? Who cares what he has to say?
And here's the irony. He's considered to be probably the worst of all the NFL commissioners, Tagliabue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't even know if he's in the Hall of Fame or not.
Yeah.
He had, like, the sport, like, went sideways when he was in charge. But, God.
I think it's like when we send Jimmy Carter into Egypt to sort of talk peace, Like, all right, why now?
But it's just amazing to me that I think Goodell's gotten a free pass. I think there's too many people that write about football in the media who are afraid to go after him and are afraid to really go into like how embarrassing this was and the fact that this guy shouldn't have the job anymore.
Yeah.
I think he should quit.
Well, if only one of us had a lengthy column every week where he could exploit.
I've written two columns.
Write 10. Keep writing them.
I have nothing else to say other than I just think he should step down.
Yeah.
He does a really bad job. The Saints thing was a fireable offense.
No, it's bad.
Anyway, let's keep going.
All right, Washington and Philly. This one I hit exactly. So.
I had Redskins by 3.5.
That's a little low. It's 4.5, and that's what I said, 4.5. So.
Where does Kirk Cousins rank on your best quarterback list?
He is 19D, I think. It's not fair that they have two great rookie quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, the Browns and Chiefs take him immediately. They probably trade him in the offseason. I think the motto would be the Matt Schaub trade because remember Schaub with the Falcons.
Sure.
I think they got a second rounder. They might have even gotten a first rounder. But he was a much more like Kevin Cobb would obviously be another one, and Scott Mitchell. There's been some ones over the years. This one, we've actually seen him play in games, other than these other guys they did it mostly in meaningless
I thought that was a trap game. The Browns aren't bad, and the Redskins just.
I love the Browns. Yeah, I love the Browns in that game. You forget sometimes that Brandon Whedon's their quarterback.
That's the whole thing. It's like you get to a point where it's like, all right, if he makes 3 first downs without throwing an interception, they probably win this game. But too much, asking too much. Minnesota at Houston.
What did Peterson? How much did he go for in our auction? Like $20?
He's the best. Yeah.
$20?
Yeah, I think it was 18 or 20. Yeah.
And nobody knew whether to make fun of it or not because it was such a hit or miss.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the best. I can't believe what that guy's doing this year.
I think he could get 2,200.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy part
at Houston, this is where he gets tripped up a little, I think.
The crazy part is his quarterback's terrible, and the other team knows his quarterback's terrible, and that they have to stop Peterson. He's doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I had Texans by 8.5.
I think we split this one. I said 6.5. It's 7.5. We both get that.
Teaser.
And Houston still needs to win. They're only a game over Denver.
This is a very important question because I look at that and I say, well, we should absolutely tease Houston. Mm-hmm. Has Adrian Peterson become just a stay away? Do you just stay away from games that he's in?
Well, yeah, I don't like that he can roll off an 80-yarder at any time. That's not good. That's not fun to bet against. But, yeah, what is Ponder going to do? What is Ponder going to do?
I'm not betting against Adrian Peterson. I'm not betting against him anymore.
All right. Well, you don't have to. You don't want
I don't want to.
All right. Indy at KC. I got the next two exact.
You get the next. Why did you put the pressure on me like that?
Well,
Indy at KC. Wait. What did I? Oh, okay. Colts by 6.
Wow, you got it too. Yep. 6 it is. Good call.
That's a tease.
All right, you're up 4-3. Yeah, they're the worst team in the league, right? Kansas City?
I don't think anybody's ever. Somebody could edit all of the Romeo Crennel post-game handshakes into one of the saddest montages that's ever been on YouTube. The one yesterday was just especially sad. Like,
what did he do?
Just was so. He's just so sad in the handshakes. They had 0 points. I think there was like 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and they showed a graphic that they hadn't had a play for more than 7 yards.
You should have him fill in for you in the 4th game of the NBA quartet.
We could prop up a mannequin. It probably would be. But man, it's what a sad Chiefs season.
That's a mess of the team. That's your problem. That's your fault. You send Castle over there.
He was good for us.
Man.
He lost his confidence. It's really almost like a pitcher or something, where the pitcher can't find the strike zone anymore.
And they have nothing anyway. Bo's out.
Yeah, he was good for us. He really was. I genuinely believed that he was going to be a good starting quarterback after watching him that whole season.
Yeah, he should have been okay. Buffalo at Miami. So they played Thursday night about a month ago.
You know, I took the Dolphins yesterday against the Jags.
Yeah.
Because I think they're pretty good.
That was my eliminator pick, too, against your buddy
I think,
Gus.
because the lines seem high, and reflexively you just want to go, that's too many points, so I'll have to grab the points. But they have a good front seven, and they can protect leads, which I like. Right. I had the Dolphins by 6.
In this game?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 4.5.
That's too low.
The Bills talk about a stay-away team. That's just, you can't, every week there's a team that gets completely destroyed the week before and then comes on. Arizona was this week. I can look back, but, this might be one where basing on the previous week's game.
You know what's interesting about the Bills, though?
Nothing.
So they lost by 20 to the Jets. They lost by 24 to the Pats.
Yeah.
They lost by 44 to the Niners. They lost by 12 to Houston. And they lost to 33 by Seattle.
Wow.
So if it's a certain level of team, they have no chance, basically. It's impossible for them to do anything.
Right. Yeah, it's the opposite of playing to the level of competition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that
it seems
coach
like,
got to be fired. They have to. Yeah, that's enough, I think, over there, right?
well, the other thing is it was 50-17, but Seattle could have, it was like last week. Seattle easily could have been in the 60s.
You secretly love. I mean, it makes sense that you're pulling for Seattle. They are sort of the Patriots West, aren't they? I don't know how much you like Pete Carroll, but fake punting and passing late in the game and then apologizing for it with a smirk afterwards.
I like
Love
the
it.
Seattle fans. I think Seattle's my favorite non-Boston sports city.
Yeah.
Like if they got an NBA team, I'd seriously think about moving there.
They used to have. I want you to look back. They used to have an NBA team. Look it up. Well, I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Yeah, but move somewhere. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
I think it's Steelers by 3.
I went higher. I went 4, and it's 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah, it's high. Well,
I don't agree with that.
I think. Well, I guess it's must win for both. Let me tell you something. We still have our bet for the Bengals to win the division. Let's root for that a little harder.
What is it, 7-1?
No. We got like 20-1 on that at the time.
Wow, they're only a game back.
Yeah.
Well, we could probably hedge it at this point.
No.
Yeah.
Perish
just-
the thought.
Well, is there a way we can lose more money than we were already to lose? That's one of our specialties.
We also have the Giants to make the playoffs, so I don't know why that was an emotional hedge bet. But
Oh, wait a second. That might not win now.
yeah, I know. Well,
You always talk me into these
no,
bets.
no,
I'm on my
no.
BlackBerry. I'm like barely paying attention.
That's gonna win. You'll see.
All right.
You'll see. St. Louis at Tampa Bay. Game means nothing now, right?
I don't know what to make of this Tampa Bay season. I mean, I was all in on them being this explosive. They were the team that came on in the second half, and now it looks like they're quitting on their weird coach.
Yeah.
I have Bucks by 7.
What happened? I never looked into that. There was a fight on the sideline, right? Was it a defensive coach?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Bucks by 7.
Yeah.
No, I said 2, and it's 3.
Where's the game?
It's in Tampa.
Really?
They just lost by 75 points.
The Rams? What am I missing with the Rams?
I don't know. They were, they were in the same boat as Tampa before last week.
That
That's all
seems
right.
low.
All right, you have some guaranteed winners coming up. Not this one. Tennessee at Green Bay.
I think the Rams
close.
suck.
I was close on this one.
Tennessee at Green Bay?
Yeah, I'm up 6-4, including ties.
I'm going to beat you. I'm coming back right here. Packers by 9.5.
All right, you don't get this one. I said 11, and it's 11.5.
It's a little high.
A little bit, yeah. All right, New England at Jacksonville. I totally swung and missed here.
New England at Jacksonville.
Yeah. This is the playoff team you were talking about. Playoff game you were talking about years ago. They have to make up for it.
Pats by 10.5.
That's way low, but better than I did. I said 9.5. It's 14. We may have to do a 3-team tease. I don't know. We're going to have to figure something out with some of these. Because that's a win.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you do a 3-team teaser, it only gets you to -4.
They're going to win by 4. They have to still put up 40 there, right? 35.
Well, you know what's interesting about the Pats season? They're not out of it for 600 points.
Mm-hmm.
They have 506 right now.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that. They're not out of it. Oh, yeah, so 94 would be 47 a week?
They could get 50 this week.
Mm-hmm.
The record's 589 set by the 2007 Pats. So they're 83 away from that, which is totally doable because you figure if they go all out this week, they're in for 40. Mm-hmm. And then it will come down to that last week. I don't know if Belichick cares or not, but 600 points is pretty. Like I feel like that's like a significant thing. I don't know if
just
they'll care
imagine?
or not.
But all right, imagine the hatred if going into Week 17, the Pats need 51 against Miami,
They
and
just
are
go for it?
locked into a 3 seed, what would happen?
That's true.
Oh, the outrage. No, I'd love to see it. Love to see it.
That is a record that is a number that I just did not think was conceivable for an NFL season.
Even NBA.
It's basically,
right?
It's like 38 points a game.
Yeah. Oakland and Carolina.
I like the way the Panthers are finishing.
Yeah, it's strange. Choking to death there.
You all right?
A little strange, yeah.
I have Panthers by 5.5.
Yeah, I went low too. I went 6.5, and it's a 9.
Whoa!
I get that. Vegas hates Oakland.
You're killing me.
That I thought you would get. That's where I thought you'd make up the difference. But I didn't do well.
Like a lot.
I didn't do well the last 5. Let's see. It's 8-5, including ties. All right, San Diego at the Jets.
It'll be nice for the Jets fans to get a look at their next year's offensive coordinator, Norv Turner.
Wow.
I've been predicting that for 3 years. It's going to happen. I'm feeling it.
They should make the change at halftime.
I have the Jets by 3.5.
All right, you get this one. I said 4, and it's 3. So you'll get that. I'm rooting for the Jets tonight. Let that be. You are too, right? You're rooting right now. You should be rooting for the Jets more than anybody.
Not only am I rooting for the Jets, I might go buy a Jets jersey.
Wow.
To really go all out. Yeah, I want the Jets as the 6th seed.
There you go. All right, now finally to the late afternoon games, of which there are 3. Cleveland at Denver.
Wait, hold on. So best games, the early ones are
Not
Steelers.
too many great ones.
Steelers, Bengals.
New Orleans, Dallas, Steelers, Bengals.
Texans, Vikings.
Yeah.
Peterson is just on one of the 4 TVs now permanently.
He's a must-watch. Yeah.
You just don't know. You put him on, he runs for 80 yards.
Good. Yeah. We'll do something with New England and maybe Carolina over Oakland's a nice game to bet there somehow. All right, Cleveland at Denver.
Phenomenal.
I wrote about this in the Run and Shoot on Grantland today. With I don't remember because I was at the sports bar. I didn't feel like driving out, but they turned away from the 2 network games in the third quarter. I don't remember that happening.
That's
Atlanta
great.
Giants and Denver Baltimore, the 2 national games, but for 2 networks, and they went away from it in the third quarter.
Denver was fantastic yesterday, and I thought it was coming. I might have wagered on them a little bit. I picked them, but man, that was a dominant performance. They killed Baltimore.
Yeah,
it was not in doubt. In the midway through the second quarter, you knew where that game was going.
Well, it's too bad the new offensive coordinator for Baltimore couldn't get his paperwork done in time to show up for that game. Startup paperwork.
I had the Broncos by 12.5.
Wow, you hit that exactly. I went way low. I said 9.5.
The thing about the Broncos, their defense is really good, and it also, when they have a lead, they tend to extend the lead with that D.
Yeah. It would have been nice if Flacco didn't throw that terrible pick 6 at the end of the half. It would have been a little bit of a game.
I don't know Brandon Weeden in Denver. I don't like his chances. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
All right, Giants at Baltimore. You're down 8-7. This is getting. I'm starting to get nervous there.
I thought this was a really hard game to pick.
Yeah, it was.
Ravens by 2.5.
Ravens by 2.5. I said Ravens by 1. It's Giants by 1. So I get that. You need the next 2 to tie.
Giants by 1.
That's a mess. I don't know how you call this game.
So Baltimore, which was 35-5 at home in the Harbaugh era or something like that, they get killed at home last week to Denver, and Vegas is now saying they think they're going to lose 2 games in a row at home.
Yeah. Well, listen, they lost to Kirk Cousins. Not that he's bad or anything, but after not playing with the first team all week, and they lost to who else? Charlie Batch in 2 weeks, and then they lost to Peyton Manning. They're in trouble.
And we were saying I thought the Ravens were fraudulent. They'd had some really, really lucky wins. I know luck's part of football, but really, really super lucky. If 3 plays had gone differently, they would have we would have had a losing record.
Maybe even one play. Well, not losing record, but yeah. But that 4th and 29 where they got 28.5. What are we looking at here? If that's our Bengals bet comes in if that doesn't happen.
The absolutely ridiculous win over the Patriots.
Yeah. Sunday night game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was. I never felt good about the Ravens. We have that pool we did where we all drafted 3 teams.
Right.
And I had the Ravens as one of my teams, and they kept winning these stupid games.
Cowboys game, yeah.
And I'm probably going to win the pool because of like those 4 stupid games they won.
That's true. But who's your third pick? That's how you win that pool, though. Whoever your third pick was, it the Rams?
Well, I had the 5th pick was the Ravens. Pretty good. I'm going to get 10 wins out of them. Although
you should explain how it is. It was like 10 of us, and the drafting is staggered so that if you have the first pick, you also have the 20th and 29th or something, right?
Yeah, we put the rules on Graylin. Yeah, it's like 1, 20, and 26, and then it's like 2, 19, and 28. So I had 5, 15, and I think 27. And I took Baltimore 5 over San Francisco after thinking about it for like 3 weeks or however long it was. But then 15, I got Seattle.
Right.
And I probably took Seattle a little too early, but I really liked them. And then I lucked out. I got the Colts at 27.
Well, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I mean, I took the Jags, and I probably had the 29th. Yeah.
So they have 27, but I think like usually like 30, 31 wins the pool, and I'm going to get in the 30s, unless the Ravens just fall apart.
Chicago at Arizona.
Good Lord, what a bad
Cardinals,
game.
Could they win this game, the Cardinals?
I put this in the Vegas zone. Bears by 4.5.
You're going to get it because I went way high. I said 7, and it's 5.5. So if you win the last one, we're tied.
The Bears are not good.
The Packers tried to give them that game like 15 times, and they just would not take it.
The Bears cannot run the ball. They have trouble pass protecting.
Yeah.
And Cutler only throws to Brandon Marshall, and anytime he throws to anybody else, something dumb happens. I actually thought that game might have been fixed watching it.
I honestly, the way Cutler drops back, he's so upright. It's all arms, and he just I know he's like 5th in your top quarterbacks of all time, but I don't think he's trying.
I thought some of those officiating calls were so dubious. Like I think they called 3 offensive PIs in that game.
Yeah, right. On Alpha,
you never see those. Yeah. You see 2 a week. You see 2 a week when you're watching games. They had 3. Then they called a huge one on 3rd down on him that really was a borderline call. And then the 4th down, he got attacked.
He got hammered, and they didn't call.
They didn't call anything. Yeah, it was like, what's going on here? You're over calling it, and then you're under calling it.
If anyone's owed some calls, yeah. But I know what you're saying. They need to. Boy, this could be a good. The Bears don't win this game. That wild card's right in gear for us.
For who?
I'm saying the Cow. I'm talking to myself. Don't worry about it. The Cowboys.
Well,
I'm looking at a way we can go 1-1 and still get a wild card. But
I don't trust the Bears to win any game. I think they could blow this game.
Where do they end up again?
And the other thing with the Cardinals is their defense is good. It's their offense that's a travesty, but their defense isn't bad.
Yeah,
and they did get Beanie Wells back. He looked good yesterday. And the other thing I noticed yesterday, because there were only 4 games on, so we had that game on, the Cardinals were really played hard. They were really into it. Like Fitzgerald was into it. Their sideline was into it. I don't think that team's quit. So I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Bears.
That would be fun. And then they finish with Detroit, Chicago, at Detroit, and Detroit's just going to want to hurt them that whole game.
Because you could tell at this point in the season, some of these teams just look like they want to go home.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals did not look like that yesterday.
It's weird. All right, the Sunday night game. I don't remember a team playing 2 Sunday nights in a row. But San Fran at Seattle. If you get this, you tie me.
I thought this was one of the toughest lines.
Me too.
In a long time. And I thought about it long and hard. And I eventually came to this conclusion. The Seattle Seahawks will be favored by 2.5 points.
Oh! I said 3, and it's 1.
Oh.
So you get it. You tie me. 8-6-2 through 16 weeks.
Seattle, 1-point favorites. I like Seattle.
Oh, yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Kaepernick. He has to go from Pats Sunday night and now at Seattle. Some weird travel in there. biggest game of the year for Seattle, even though it probably ultimately doesn't mean that much. Who does San Francisco have last week, just out of curiosity?
They're at Arizona, so that's the only reason they're going to win the division. But I'm sorry, they're home for Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, that's a godsend. Hey, do you know who has the worst record against the spread?
San Diego? No.
No, good guess though. I like the guess.
Yeah. Who is it?
It's the Oakland Raiders. They're 3-10.
It is, even after yesterday. Wow.
Yeah, they're 3-10. And then best records are.
It's got to be Denver because I pick against them every week and they win.
No, they're only 7-5-1.
Really?
The Colts are 9-4.
Yeah.
The Seahawks are 9-4. St. Louis is 9-4. Tampa is somehow still 8-3-2 against the spread.
Wow. That was all beginning of the year. Right?
And then Philly is 3-9-1. We should mention them. They were 1-9-1, and then they covered the last two, including the miracle punt return.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those. Other than that, everybody else is kind of in the middle.
Yeah, but it does seem like teams like Buffalo and Tennessee, you should just never ever put even 25 cents on.
All right. You want any last words?
What are we doing? Homeland or Survivor? What are we talking about?
Any last words for R.A. Dickey?
That sucks. I know. But it's the right move. Okay. God bless you, R.A. Thank you for getting the Cy Young 20 wins.
Did they feel like he was a self-promoter or something? It feels like there was more to the story.
No, I don't think so. That
like they just wanted him to go.
Hard. We can't pass up deals like this anymore. I don't think.
What catcher did you get?
That's very sad.
Which one did you get?
From Toronto, Bernard.
Oh, that guy. That is a real guy.
Yeah. Wait, we did get him, right?
I think you did.
That was his sticking point.
Yeah, in my keeper league, he was like a first-round pick last year in our minor league draft.
Yeah,
so catcher that hits for power.
There you go. Hasn't had that in years.
Let's talk Survivor first, quickly.
Okay.
Now,
I know I joke about you calling me drunk, but we did at the Grantland party. You did have a few in you, and you confessed your love to Lisa Welchel. You said you fell in love with her like a month ago on the show.
No, I said I was talking about the dynamic of after they lose a bunch of weight, and then there hits a point where you're like, "Uh-oh, is she attractive, or what's going on right now?"
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's when she broke down seeing her brother and reached that level of craziness that really hasn't been tapped into on television before.
I hate that. You like that? I could take all the God talk and whatever, pretend that God's rooting for them and everyone, but that when they're reunited with their siblings or spouses after 30 days and they're blubbering for 10 minutes and who knows how much they cut out of it.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I don't know if we talked about this on a podcast or email, but I absolutely would have Joe House as my person. I think we talked about this on the podcast.
No, I don't think we did. I think we just emailed it. Yeah.
Because I think he'd help me with the challenges, and then it would be so much fun to watch him eat.
Yeah.
I think it's like I'm going to see my wife in 10 days anyway. She doesn't need to fly out here. And then she might get mad at me that I didn't get excited enough and emotional enough to see her. Like, oh, the other people cried. Why didn't you cry?
Yeah.
We might get in a fight. Like, who knows? Who knows how that could go?
Well, certainly not my sister. Like, if you fly my sister out, I'd hug her and then I'm like, hey, where's that $79 I gave you for the Sirius satellite? You put it on my credit card. I still haven't gotten it. But we'd be arguing within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think Joe House might backfire on you. He might go back to camp and eat all the rice, and everyone would be pissed at you.
Oh, I didn't think of that part. You're right. Yeah, I think the move is to go with somebody you can either hang out with it or a kid if one of your kids are old enough. I think that's a move. Now that's where you might cry if you see one of your kids.
Yeah, that's true.
The move of you said you'd take Brad, right?
I would take Brad. I'd take Mad Brad. I would take him. I'd instruct him. I'd say, let's just make fun of Probst for 10 minutes, verbally assault him, and then go back, spin back into the woods and never be seen again.
What chain of events needs to happen for Brad to be on Survivor?
He would have to get identification to fly in an airplane. That's A1. That's probably much as big.
So
and Denise won. Denise
won.
Thought the guy from Hermosa Beach was going to win,
Malcolm, who's very close friends to Rembert Brown of Grantland.
I love that. He almost brought him to the party.
Yeah, but I thought Malcolm made the mistake. He had multiple chances to get rid of the sex therapist, and you can't let those people linger.
Yeah, he should have just lied. Had he lied and said, "Yeah, I'm bringing you to the final three," and then backstabbed her, he probably would have lost their vote. But he would have been there.
Everyone gets backstabbed once or twice. That's how it's part of how you win. It's interesting though that like these people are such students of Survivor, and like the key points to flip the game are when there's 9, 7, or 5 left, when it's an odd number. And that's always, especially when there's 5, you can always flip it at that point. That's when he should have gotten. Like Abby had no chance. There's no reason to get rid of Abby.
Right.
That's when you get rid of Denise.
Yeah, these people I think are just so exhausted and are so annoyed by the one pain in the ass. Like I can't do 3 more days with her.
Yeah, can you think about how annoying you have to be?
Yeah.
That people, it's worth more than it's worth almost worth $1 million for them just to get away from that person.
Right.
But the move is always to keep the crazy one as long as you possibly can. There's no reason to vote them off.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was a solid season.
It was good.
I think if you had told me
favorites versus fans versus favorites are doing again.
Malcolm's on that.
Oh, he is. You know.
That's why it's funny because Probst was like, "Would you play Survivor again?" And in the post show, Malcolm's like, "Yeah, I'd think about it." It's like, "Yeah, you already filmed it."
No, yeah, you signed it before we mic'd you.
But I thought it was a solid season. Blair was just bat crazy.
She was.
Bat crazy in an awesome way, and I wish I could go back in time and tell 10-year-old me about just any time that Blair was on Facts Life. Like, you wait, 30 years from now.
It bums me out that I know, but that 2 out of the 18 or 20, only 2 recognized her as Blair. Like, I understand, like if you're in your 20s or whatever, but that's a little crazy. No one picked up on that.
Were you disappointed instead of her brother? Would it have been more fun if she had Joe from Facts of Life as her whatever? Nancy McKeon comes running in.
I wanted Mrs. Garrett to go out there. Oh, 93.
Waddling.
Yeah. Blair.
So what grade you give the season for?
For Survivor?
For Survivor, yeah.
Yeah, I give it a B+. I liked it. There's no villain. There's no true villain though. There was that Abby. She was annoying, but it's missing that villain. I thought. What about you?
I'd give it a B or B-.
All right.
The Sunday night 2-hour show is really fun. Like I actually enjoy the part when they go. They have to say goodbye to everybody along the way.
Yeah, right.
That corny part. They're trying to remember like these people they knew for an hour. Oh, Bob. Yeah, he was something. Spoke his mind.
I don't know how they remember these people.
Yeah.
We have a Survivor pool that you quit. You just couldn't take it.
Yeah, I quit.
Anymore.
I can't win.
So I can't win either, but it came down to, and I wasn't in the finals, but the 2 guys, the first tiebreaker was who you thought was going to win, and they both had the same one. The second tiebreaker was going to get voted out. The first tribal, and they both had the same. The third tiebreaker, this is genius, from our friend Jamie, was how much time are they going to dedicate to that, what you're just talking about, where they go and pay tribute to the 18, 16 castaways.
Right.
And that's what the guy won this pool, this year-long pool. He won it based on that because he said it's going to be 6 minutes and 45 seconds, and it was like 8:15 or something.
Oh, my God.
I know. That may have to be the end of this pool.
I see. I can't handle stuff like that. What was the big fantasy? Did anything big happen in fantasy football yesterday that swung playoffs?
No, they were both pretty much blowouts. In our league?
No, I'm saying just out of the people yesterday. Like, somebody must have started Kaepernick in leagues around the country.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he probably swung a couple, if you were smart enough to start him, which he would have been a good start against the Pats
defense. The Seahawks defense continues to be the best start for anybody, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, Seahawks defense, which was on my team.
Really? You dropped them?
I never dropped them. I never made the playoffs. I had an unbelievable team.
What do you mean you never dropped them? The guy in the playoffs in the finals has the Seahawks defense.
Oh, I did drop them then.
Yeah.
I paid like $2 for them.
Oh, that's your team.
I had them. I had them. Eli killed me. I hate Eli. I think I'd have trouble being friendly to Eli.
Good. You're getting.
I met him.
Good.
It cost me 2 Super Bowls and a fantasy season.
Thank you. Now you're coming around.
Mad at that guy. Homeland quickly, and then we'll go. So if you haven't seen Homeland yet, turn us off now. This is the last thing we're talking about.
People
then we're
get
leaving.
angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I liked it. I liked the ending. I really did. I mean, it was 40 minutes of St. Elmo's fire you had to endure before anything happened. But what did you think?
They could have cut at least one of the cabin scenes.
Oh man, enough.
I don't think two people, not since James Gandolfini and Edie Falco, have an on-screen couple made me more uncomfortable, like when they're making googly eyes and kissing each other. It was really like horrifying. It's just like, no!
It is weird.
It's just awful.
It's how I imagine you and Russell Wilson when you guys are alone. Yeah.
I don't think even I'd make googly eyes as long as Russell is Claire Danes. Like, she's just so crazy and not sexy.
And she's still, like, banged up from the explosions she ran through. Like, her face looks like Mike Tyson. Like, she's got permanent tattooed, like, injuries on her faces. I don't know.
And he's all, like, shifty-eyed and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some problems. Like, I thought there were some really bad scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Brody going to see Mike. Hey, can I get you a Rolling Rock? They talk for 10 seconds. Hey, so I'm splitting my family. And
that is classic. That's a great TV/movie thing. Like, how much alcohol is wasted on a guy who orders a drink, sits down, takes one sip, says what he has to say, and then leaves.
Yeah.
Like, and you pay for the Rolling Rocks, and if you want to keep putting the bricks to my wife, that's fine. I'm out.
Also, who does that? And why was Mike playing pool during the day in some random bar? The whole thing rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, that's just another thing. But Mike has nothing to do ever. Like, you can find him wherever you want.
Right. I thought the stuff with Quinn and the Dennis Haysbert 2.0, whatever that, Estes.
Nice. Yep.
I like that whole plot. I'm actually glad Estes blew up because I thought he was a bad actor.
Yeah.
I think it'll reinvigorate the show to have somebody new in charge next season.
So now Quinn has to kill Brody, right? Because he kills bad guys.
All right, so do we think Brody put the car there?
I don't know if he's a bad guy or not. I don't know.
I think he is.
You think he is, huh?
Well, so I watched the part when him and Claire Danes, when they left the service.
Right.
What's interesting is she was the one who motioned for him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So because if he had told her, hey, let's go talk for a second, then you'd be like, oh, he knew the thing was blowing up. Yeah. But she was the one that did it.
They're making eyes at each other the whole ceremony, right? Uh-huh.
But he also looked super nervous, like going into that ceremony.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I mean,
but that's a lot to think. Okay, so now she's got a gun to his head, so he's that confident that he's blown back by this explosion, not enough to kill him, but he's going to have the wherewithal to talk his way out of this with her before she kills him or locks him up.
Here's the thing. I think my theory, has been borne out. And it was a theory that was off the Emily Nussbaum theory, which is so Brody and Abernathy are playing this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right down to the part where Abernathy mysteriously just decides to get murdered by everybody. And then everybody thinks it's over and blah, blah, blah. But really, he died to make that what happened yesterday in yesterday's show to make that happen.
Right.
So Brody, if they were in on this from the get-go, they had this whole elaborate plan. It makes total sense. Like, and then Brody, and Claire Danes will believe me. I've won her back. I love her. She loves me. She'll do anything for me. She'll help me escape.
Boy, that's something. It could be, but and then that supposes that Quinn doesn't kill Brody, because then that really puts a wrench in it.
And maybe, yeah. I mean, the Quinn becomes the most interesting character next season because Brody hopefully will just be on the run. But
yeah.
And then Brody can do the thing like they try to frame me and all that stuff. But
so now the idea is that Claire and Sal are going to have to defend Brody too. Right. Because they both know. Does Quinn know that tape pre-existed? Like that tape was for the first Vest bombing? I don't know if Quinn knows that. He does? Yeah.
They know about that tape.
Yeah.
Or at least a few of them have seen it.
Yeah.
But then here's the other part. You have so many holes. Like, first of all, Brody's never investigated for the vice president's murder.
Right, yeah. No, they're not investigated. The wife wants him there at the funeral by his side.
That whole part was super duper dicey. And then Claire Danes disappears for 24 hours from this bombing that somehow she mysteriously didn't blow up on.
That's going to be tough to explain.
Yeah, where were you? I was in my office.
Yeah.
I was unconscious. But then the parking the car in front, I thought, was a real leap of faith.
And he caught it just a second before it went off. He's like, wait a minute, let's stop making out for a second because I could see my car where it's not supposed to be.
By the way, a car that you might not know was yours.
Yeah.
It's not like it was like there was
right,
an Aston Martin. It was just some gold Jeep. It's like, hey, that's my car. Like, how do you know that's your car? But yeah, I think if the end game was that Brody and Ebenezer are playing this all along, but we don't know that for sure, and that season 3 is trying to figure out if he did. Like, I'm okay with that. I just thought the vice president's death was just too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Too far-fetched.
I'm with you.
I thought Manny Patinkin was incrable last night.
He was really good. He must have smelled really bad after 3 days, though, in that room. That's all I kept thinking. I don't know why.
He reminds me so much of Phil Jackson that I wonder if there's a way to work in the Lakers somehow in any of these next season shows.
That's good.
Yeah. So you're like B-, B+?
Yeah, I give it B. There were too many lost episodes in there.
The good news for Homeland is even when it's bad, it's really fun to complain about.
Sure, that's it.
It's always going to deliver the goods.
I know. I'm going to go to work and everyone's going to hate it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. All right, so let's talk about it that way.
Well, as long as we never have to see them flirt with each other ever again, I'm happy.
Yeah, back to the cabin.
Cousin Sal, what do you have to promote this week?
Jimmy Kimmel Live, Hugh Jackman tonight, Jenna Fisher, 2 Chainz, I think is the name of the band, and tomorrow Samuel Jackson and the Jersey Shore cast for promoting the series finale. Oh,
God.
You don't watch, huh? You're out?
Oh, I've been out for 2 years.
I have it in the background all the time when it's on.
It's crazy, though. It peaked at 9 million, and now it's like under 2.
It is under 2?
For viewers. Yeah, it's like 1.9 million now.
Oh, wow.
But it was 9 million in its heyday.
Well, bring it back.
Anyway.
9 million for the finale.
All right, cuz. Good luck next week with your boys.
Good job by you, Belly.
Good job by you.
So I get to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.